It's Tuesday. Anyways, well, hey guys, it's Keyba here today with a video. One that I actually wasn't expecting to make because I didn't get any update that there was going to be a patch drop today, which is surprising, but also fun. So we're going to go into a little bit of the details of how this is going to affect you if you're looking. I think most of the patch notes were PvP based. So I'm going to speak around that for each class, how it affects you if you play those specific classes. So we're going to go down the list of what this means. Again, redundancy. But if first I want to just say, if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you don't mind supporting by subscribing to the channel. If not, I understand, but it does help a lot when you do subscribe, and also leave a like on the video. We're gonna go through it, but if you guys did see an update, let me know in the comments because I didn't see one. I would have planned to make one, but this is kind of like on the fly, so no script or anything. Be nice, I guess, and we'll go from there. So the first thing we're gonna look at with, well, let's just go down the list. Living World, they fixed a bug in the Eye of Ears achievement, which progress was not granted when using, items, diviners, fixed a bug that prevented diviners crafted exotic trinkets from being tradable, which is really cool now, I believe, because that allows people who want to get diviners trinkets who don't want to make the ascended ones able to buy them, apparently. Frost Legion Spoils box now offers Frost Legion Corrupted Materials box. Okay, so a name change. And the currency boxes are now stackable, not stack. I think someone was like rushing between this and didn't realize that they forgot like 3 other letters. But Elementalist, right? Profession skills, Stone Resonance and Lesser Stone Resonance reduce barrier base pulls from 1069 to 535 in PvP. This is kind of a deal when it comes to what it hits is it's gonna hit the survivability of an Elementalist. So Lesser Stone Resonance, you enter Earthen State, you gain barrier over the course of time, and if you're new and don't know what barrier is just a overlay over your health pool, so it gives you a little bit of shield that prevents your actual HP from being taken away from you, I guess. And then there's also the Lesser Stone Resonance here in the trait line for Weaver. So once you enter an Earthen State, so when you activate a stance, you gain you proc the stance here. Now it does have a 70-second cooldown, but if you were to do it, I mean it could stack a ton of barrier, right? It would pulse it, so you see a 3,000, but before it would be about like 6,000 or so. So that's kind of a big hit to Elementalist, I believe. It's going to make them less tanky, and you might see them be able to be killed a lot easier. So just something to pay attention to if you're an Elementalist player. It is a little bit of a nerf. I wouldn't be too worried though. The damage is still there, so it just requires you to play a little bit safer. So let's go over the Engineer next, right? So what we see here with Engineer, Impact Savant reduced damage to barrier conversion from 15 to 10% in PvP only. Flash Shell reduced balance duration from 5 to 2 seconds in PvP only, increased the cooldown from 20 to 30 seconds. Bulwark Gyro, base barrier pulse from 726 to 508 in PvP. Soothing Detonation fixed a bug in which the trait would incorrectly trigger if the tool belt skill was interrupted. And Detection Pulse fixed a bug in which the skill would reveal enemies with Aegis, and a bug in which skills would not reveal downed enemies. So I do like the last one there. I mean, some of these were kind of like, I don't know, they could have just done these on a hotfix like this last one. I know that some people in World vs. World might enjoy this on both sides, right? Guardians or anyone that doesn't want to be revealed that has Aegis, now they won't be detected. But at the other side, right, if you're attacking and you've killed enemies and you want to remove them from stealth, now you'll be able to. So last one's a good one, but we'll go over these, right? Impact Savant, it is what it is. A lot of these are going to be aimed at the Inventions trait line from what I saw, and the Mortar Kit. So as you see here, the Soothing Detonation, when you use a tool belt skill, it will heal your allies, but if a tool belt skill gets interrupted, it would still heal your allies. So that's kind of a nerf to that, right? If you get interrupted, you're not going to heal your allies. The other one that I saw was the Flash Shell here. This is kind of big, right? Because people use Mortar Kit in PvP to just permanently blind players. For 5 seconds, that's a long time on a node. So, and the cooldown increase is going to make it a little bit easier for people to be able to just take a bunker, I guess, scrapper off the node. I do agree with those changes in all honesty. Mainly these were targeted to scrapper. I don't see too much of a Hollowsmith change. So I mean, from my understanding, Hollowsmith is still kind of like in limbo right now. It's not overpowered, but it's also not the weakest. I don't know. I don't really keep up to with the meta too much in that regards, but that's what I see here. This is mainly catered towards scrappers, so the impact savant there is going to reduce the conversion. So I'll give my opinions later at the end of this, right? But the first thing I want to do is just go through the skills. So we're going to go through all of them again. Guardian, Dragon's Maw fixed a bug in which a trap would be created at the incorrect location if a Guardian moved during the arming time. So all this really means is that whenever you're placing the trap, right, which is Dragon's Maw, the elite on Dragon Hunter, if you're running and you place a trap, it's going to place it behind you. Where a lot of the times where if you're running, the trap would arm right where you're at. So it just makes it a little bit, I don't know, I don't really agree with that change. I mean, I know I said I'd get my opinions later, but I feel like it was nice to be able to just run into somebody at the last second of the arming phase and have that trap land on them. It is what it is, though. That was a bug, apparently, so that's the only changes that we see to Dragon Hunter, or Guardian in general. So they want to play a little sneaky with the Necro here. Necromancer, Lich Form, fixed a bug in which a skill would go on full cooldown if interrupted after a certain point during the cast time. Yeah, that's so, in other words, if you are trying to catch your skill, you get interrupted, it's not going to go on full cooldown, which is like the full 80 seconds. So kind of a buff there. But they also had some other notes that I guess they forgot. So Death Nova reduces the power coefficient of the Poison Nova explosion from 0.75 to 0.6 in PvP. And then Putrid Explosion reduces the power coefficient from 1 to 0.8 in PvP only. So this one is a pretty big nerf. If you notice that there might be some like minion mancers running around with Death Magic trait line here, right? There's the Summon Bone minions that can cause a Death Nova explosion, which does a ton of damage. If you were to run in, right, and you have these, and let's just say you attack somebody, right, like this, you want to just cause that explosion. You see these little things right there, boom, exploding. Come on, explode, hurry up, buddy. You know, it would be very, very painful. It would cause a lot of damage like that. So they did nerf that power coefficient, which is really big, I think. It makes it a little bit less annoying to fight whenever you have just little minions just blowing up on you everywhere. So I like that change. I know I said opinions. I'll give the rest of that later, but that's what the change is. So I know why they did this next one, right? Ranger. The counterattack kick reduces knockback distance from 300 to 100 PvP only, and Glyph of Tides, the increased cooldown from 20 to 35 seconds only in PvP. Look guys, we know why they did this. They did this so people wouldn't be constantly knocked off a node. The 300 range would probably, I think that's what they figured would make it to where, you know, if you use your counterattack, right, and someone hits it, and you can knock them back, that would knock them, 300 range. I think 100 range is good. It keeps them still on the node unless you like play it really well. And then Glyph of Tides there, right, knocks people back like that. So that is another one, the cooldown to 35 seconds. I do see that as a response to just decap druids being all over the ranked games. And the next one we kind of knew was coming to Revenant, especially Renegade, I believe, was still like really strong, mainly because of the amount of damage that the class can do overall. So it looks like they did hit some of the trait lines for Renegade, which is Vindication, reducing might duration from 3 seconds to 1 second in PvP, and then Heroic Command, reducing might stat granted, per Colossus Fervor from 2 to 1 in PvP only. What you probably will see with this is you'll end up seeing a reduction of might stacking. So you may not see permanent might stacks when you have the Heroic Command being nerfed, and then also Vindication when someone is in a Renegade. Yeah, you might end up just seeing them not being able to hold as much. So, you know, if you have 5, 7, so before it would be about 10 or so, but now it's a little bit less. But that's kind of the big change that you see there. Yeah, not too crazy. 10 stacks, 5 stacks. Okay, so makes damage a lot less, especially if you're going to be running Herald, and short bow. So that's what I like about it. And now we go to everyone's favorite class. It doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna just love this class. This is your favorite class in the entire game, which is gonna be Warrior, right? Because that's my favorite class. So let's get into it. All right, I pretty much know how I feel about this, and I'll explain it. But full counter reduced days from 2 seconds to 1 second in PvP only. Call of Valor reduced the base barrier from 2580 to 2064 in PvP. Reduce healing scaling from 1 to 0.5 in PvP. Bigger shots reduce healing scaling from 0.64 to 0.5. And banner skills fix the bugs in which banner can be picked up multiple times, resulting in a larger cooldown reduction than intended. Obviously the bug, whatever, I'm not too upset about the bug, right? If it's a bug, then it needs to be fixed. Vigorous shouts and Call of Valor, so kind of big nerfs to the healing Spellbreaker, right? So Call of Valor, you're gonna have, I believe, the tactics line, right? Yeah, I don't know how I feel. To be quite honest, I didn't really care too much for Healbreaker. Actually, I believe it's the what is it? My Warhorn, wherever that Warhorn is. I think it's in my other template here. Yep. So you have the Call of Valor there, right? This was giving a lot of barrier and I guess healing. So it is what it is. That nerf I'm okay with. I do believe that Healbreaker was a little bit overtuned because there was just so many of them. And personally, as a warrior main, I have a lot of pride in having a class where not many people like to play it. And so seeing a lot of warriors and a lot of people play warrior wasn't a bad thing, right? But I just feel like for a class that I want people to enjoy and have the skill to actually play it really well, it does give me joy that is kind of nerfed. One thing that you see is the full counter here that's nerfed, so it's 1 second days versus the 2 second days. So yeah, we can probably get into that if you want. First thing I'm going to talk about here is the Rune speed reduction. That's kind of big. It reduces the bonus speed from 66 to 50%. Kind of nice. You can't have people kiting away so quickly. I know this was really good rune for Necros to be running in ranked. Does really affect them when they're trying to run away if they're using a lot of swiftness. And then the Rune Resistance increased internal cooldown from 20 to 45 seconds. This is a really big rune effect here. There were a lot of classes that would be using Rune of Resistance, right? In order, especially like Heralds and stuff, that would be trying to get that 4 second cooldown or 4 second of resistance whenever they're using like a Glint Elite or a Jade Winds. So it would remove them from potentially being able to be blinded by using those skills. Really, really nice. I don't really know how to feel about that. They came out with some new stuff here. If you want to see like the Black Lion stuff, we can definitely show you what that is if you want to see here. It's a little dagger, I believe, and yeah. So this cool little dagger here. It's really got a nice effect. I do like that. And then this lunar scale skin. So be that as it may, let's go over my kind of opinions on some of these nerfs, right? We'll start with Elementalist. I think that was a good nerf for Elementalist personally. I think with the amount of passive abilities, especially with the dodge rolls that Elementalists have, you're going to have to play really, really well on Elementalist in order to keep up with that same level of skill that you had before. Engineer, I didn't really care too much for the Engineer nerfs personally, mainly because I just feel like a lot of these were, like, I don't personally believe Scrapper. I mean, the one thing that I did know was that the Flash Shell was a little bit broken, so I am glad about that, but everything else was more just a filler, in my opinion. It doesn't really affect or impact the game as heavily as some of the other ones. Dragon's Maw, didn't really care. Like I said, I didn't mind where it was before, so I feel like this was kind of not really a good move. I think they should have kept this and not labeled it as a bug. Necromancer, I think they could have done more. Personally, the Death Magic trait line I still feel is really, really busted. Like, we'll go into Necro real quick and I'll explain. But I mean, the Putrid Mark explosion, that's a good start in the right direction. However, the armor stacking that this trait line has I still feel like the Armored Shroud is pretty broken. Because you'll see people who get about like 30-40 stacks of these death carcasses, which just makes it so much more difficult to fight them, especially when you have a class that has Shroud and minions and things of that nature. A lot of those death magic minion mancers that you'll see playing around are just very, very annoying to fight, and they kind of negate a lot of other classes that are really trying to play in the game. So I think they could have done more with that, with this trait line specifically. I hope to see more of that in the future. Now, the next one is going to be, Ranger. I actually like these. I like these nerfs. It makes it more enjoyable, I guess, in the game, and you won't be getting knocked off the node as much. Makes Ranger less impactful. I don't think Ranger's in a bad spot in terms of damage whatsoever right now. Maybe just tuned down a little bit with the amount of damage scalability that it has if a Soul Beast is attacking you. I know there are times when I play Soul Beast and I could just one-shot somebody with a longbow too, if they're not paying attention, by using 3 or 4 different skills at the same time. But to be fair, I honestly don't mind that at all. Revenant, I like the Revenant changes. In terms of Renegade, I would like to see the short bow tuned down a little bit. I don't know if they've tuned it down in the past. Definitely let me know in the comments if they have already. But since I personally haven't seen it yet, I think that would be the next step that Revenant needs, is tuning down the short bow a little bit. And then Warrior, like I said, I don't mind these nerfs here. What I do hate is that full counter reducing the days from 2 to 1 second only. And the caveat to that is I am just upset that the days, they're not substituting it with something. They just keep nerfing this skill, and it makes it less enjoyable, and it makes Warrior less impactful and less valuable in the games overall. Because what I hate to see is constant nerfing of this skill, which it really doesn't have a lot of impact, especially with the 1 second days. Like, that's fine to me, but increase the damage a little bit more, in my opinion. 76 damage or something of that nature. What we'll see here is a little bit of once I remove that, you see some other stats here, right? But the main thing is that it may seem broken. However, the fact that this is that it is unblockable, or that it is able to be blocked or hit through unblockable, I'm sorry, just makes it really bad. I mean, you can be blinded through full counters. People dodge it all the time. It does offer some sort of protection, but once I play the actual build that I'm playing, right, you don't see too many different things. So I would love to have seen the damage be upscaled a little bit. I don't like that I had to trait in order to get some extra things to it. This is what makes this one class playable and unique. So to see that full counter is a little bit just undertuned, in my opinion. They need to do something. They can't just keep nerfing it. Guardian, on the other hand, I think that going back to Guardian, they really need to go back and reevaluate the burn stack capabilities of a Guardian. I don't like that Guardians can hit you with 80,000 burn damage in the blink of an eye. So they hopefully will start looking at that, seeing how they can change the skills to where the burns don't constantly proc whenever you do 3 attacks, that kind of stuff. It'll make the game more enjoyable, and it'll recreate the healthy scene that we're all looking for, especially in PvP. And for those of you that don't know, I'm talking about the Permeating Wrath here. This skill probably needs to be tuned down a little bit, or burn overall needs to be reevaluated, because it just doesn't make sense that you can stack so much burn. So, and it's like, so another thing too is, do Mesmer and Thief not exist in the game anymore? I feel like, yeah, the balance patch could have done more, especially with how much time they've had between balance patches. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much what I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you like this kind of stuff when the patch comes out, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinions on what you guys think as well. If you think anything is overtuned or undertuned, and if you just don't agree with me, let me know in the comments below so we can have a discussion and see where there might be flaws in my logic or whatnot. So I will see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your week.